Yo,
Hi.
what's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. How's your week been?
Okay.
Yeah,
Weather's been crappy here.
really?
Yeah.
That is terrible. It's no good. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of redesigning on my website. I'm gonna just simplify a few things, make it easier for you guys. But going forward, I will share some of the group call links so people can RSVP other last minute or whatever. But for now, we'll keep it relatively short and sweet. I'll wait until Alex hops in and then I'll kind of do this. But you can always join group calls. I'll try to have one a week depending on my schedule. As long as you guys RSVP, we'll have it. If no one RSVPs, it just won't be on the schedule. So please RSVP, submit questions. I do record these, and I think these are awesome because there's a lot of good info that comes out from these things. You can share personal stuff, you can share business stuff. The goal of these sessions is not to do anything besides help each other, right? We're not here so I can talk, so I can just give you my 2 cents and whatever. Like sometimes I'll prepare a presentation, or if I have someone that wants to teach something, I'll bring them on. The goal is for you guys to get to know each other, just sync up and connect. Because these are recorded, I will post them on YouTube. If you say something that's personal and you don't want that to go on YouTube, just let me know. Shoot me a message during the call or after. I generally don't post them for a couple of days just in case you do that, but I'd like to give that as a disclaimer. That's the only kind of content I'll ever put on YouTube. I won't put them on TikTok or anything, so don't worry about that. But I want you guys to help each other. I want you guys to pitch in, be vulnerable, share stories, share experiences, failures, whatever else, because there's a lot of good insights from everyone in the community, right? Make sense? Cool. So why don't we just go around? We'll go Kaylin, Val, Alex, and then Christina. Why don't you guys just give a short intro? Introduce yourself, where you're from, and kind of what's going on.
I'm Kaylin. I live in New Jersey. I found Cam on TikTok, in my doom scrolling, and a lot of the things he was saying resonated with me as I am going through a breakup. And on top of that, just feeling like stagnant in life and needing to get guidance in some other areas. So that's why I'm here.
Nice. Val, what you got?
Hi there, my name is Valeria and I am located in Atlanta. I've been with Cam for almost 2 months now, and reason why I joined is because I'm going through a lot of changes in jobs, in city, in community, pretty much everything, whole new life. So just was needing extra support.
Oh yeah. Who's next? Alex or Christina? Christina,
Yeah.
what's
Hi, I'm Christina. I live in Newport Beach, California. Just moved here from San Diego. I haven't even started with Cam yet. I'm starting on Saturday, but he invited me to this. So nice to meet you all. I am just looking to kind of upgrade what I'm already doing and just learn from Cam. And I'm trying to start my online, I don't know exactly what it means yet. I teach breath work, Pilates, mindset, brain neuro, kind of what you teach, but I would love to do it for women. I've started courses, I've done retreats and all of that. So looking to learn from him on kind of how to do all of that as well, and for myself.
nice?
Open to whatever.
Hell yeah. Alex, where are you?
Hey guys, I'm Alex. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I also found Cam just doom scrolling on TikTok. I'm kind of going through this moment with a breakup and just coming to this realization that I really need to work on myself and like just all the stuff that goes into it. So I thought that it would just be a really good opportunity to broaden my horizon and just look into it in a different light.
Hell yeah. Amy, did you sneak in here? I see Amy.
Good. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
What's up? Yeah.
Hello. Hi guys. Sorry it's a little noisy in the background. We are currently launching the boat to go pluck some shrimp pots out of the ocean. I am the founder and CEO of Access Medical Imaging. I've been with Cam for about a year now, and he's helped me overcome a lot of crazy stuff and helped me launch my business. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and Cam's helped me through a lot. So it's been a good journey, and I will be joining from the background today. I'll try to pitch in as much as I can with 3 kids in a boat in the ocean. So it's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Hell yeah. All right. So we're all over the country. Again, the point of these group calls, it's very, very relaxed. I think at this point, we've all had conversations, and I'm super down to earth. Like, what you see is what you get. I really don't try and impress people. I like living very authentically, but I want you guys to share and like laugh and be vulnerable here. You don't have to stay the whole hour, right? If you just want to get in, submit your questions and get out and get on with your day, that's cool too. I'll post the recordings to the Discord channel so that if you want to watch it, that's fine. But again, if somebody is sharing something or you want to share something and you don't want that to go to the public arena, just let me know, and this will only stay here between us. Okay. And when you RSVP, like the sooner you RSVP, the sooner your questions come up in the hopper. So like there's a little point where you can submit questions. If you really want to talk about something or you get advice or feedback from someone, submit your questions first because I'm going through them right now. And this is how we'll kind of start. I'll ask if anyone wants to kick it off or wants to answer. Otherwise, I'll give my 2 cents and we can kind of just move on. But good first question here. What is the best way to lead from depth without overwhelming people who still want simplicity? Okay, that's a great question. I don't know who did that one, but
That was me.
what's the best way to lead from depth without overwhelming people who still want simplicity? Okay, so anyone want to take a stab at that? What's the best way to lead from depth without overwhelming people who still want simplicity? Christina, are you talking about like a potential partner or customers, clients?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been on any social media for a while, and so now I'm back. I'm on TikTok for this, the Quantum Chris. If anyone wants to follow me, I just post weird stuff right now. So you can follow me on there. I just started like 3 days ago, but I don't know. Sometimes I just get too deep or complex. I don't know. So how you do a really good job of making everyone kind of understand what you're talking about, even if it's complex topics or emotionally depth topics. So I don't know how you kind of frame that or if you just kind of go from the heart. I don't know. So that's one of the things that I wanted to ask. I don't really know how to
Yeah.
say it. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, I think you framed that question like really, really good. And I don't need any sort of praise or I'm here to learn from.
No, no.
No, like actually, please don't do that. You'll make me super, super uncomfortable, right? Because I'm just a dude and I fuck shit up all the time. But I think when I really think about something, like I was outside earlier just staring at the rain. I'm sitting on my front porch, right? With Charlie, and I'm just staring, watching the rain just hit the ground. And I'm just thinking, I give myself more time to do nothing, right? To like process shit. And I think that that's really helpful for me. Or all my videos, I'm outside and I'm moving my body and I'm walking, and it just allows me to get things going. I can't sit here and record a video, right?
Yeah.
So authenticity is always the answer. But in your content that you're putting out there, do you feel like you have authenticity? Yes or no? If
Yes. I mean, you'll watch it and I think you'll see it, but I don't know, maybe sometimes I say too much though. I don't know. I need to like figure out my rhythm. I think that'll just take time.
Yeah. Yeah. I posted TikToks. I've had it for like a year and a half. But when I started, I had like 50 followers for like 6 months.
Yeah.
I was
I know,
like,
like
this
I'm
growth
acting
is
like
crazy.
I'm talking to this audience. It's like
Yeah.
all my friends so far and like 50 other people in the past 3 days, but whatever, it's fun.
I used to make fun of people that would like hold the phone up and like take photos of themselves or like
Yeah.
talk to themselves. I was like,
Yeah, same.
right, right. And then I remember the first time when I was in Boston and I saw somebody talking with earbuds.
Yeah.
It looked like they were just talking to themselves, and I was like, what a fucking idiot, right? And now that's all of us. So just understand that consistency is going to be your best friend. Consistency and authenticity. Make sense?
Love it.
Don't worry about the results. Doesn't fucking matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Second question is, what parts of your old self had to die for the life you have now, and do you miss any of them?
That was also me.
That's a great question. Amy, you might have a badass answer to this. I don't know if you're still on the boat, but what are the old parts of you that had to die?
Oh gosh, a bunch of them, a bunch of them. You got to let go of a lot of pieces of yourself for the new parts of you to show up. And there's a lot of ego deaths along the way, and it's painful. Healing is very painful, and it's not linear. And when you reach the point of healing and you get out of fight or flight, they don't really talk about the pain that comes after you get out of fight or flight, and you reach peace for the first time, and you sit with that peace and the pain that comes after the peace. And so it actually spirals you in a level you're not ready for. And so anybody that's going through the healing journey, I just caution you, when you hit that stride and you hit peace for the first time, just be ready for that, because it hits you like a tidal wave. And so when that fight or flight dies in you, and you let go of that trauma response and realize, like, I can live a peaceful life, and all you've ever known is fight or flight. It's hard. It's hard to let go of that part of you and learn how to live a peaceful life. So I'm still learning how to live in peace and not fight or flight. So, I can add a lot more to that, but that's all I'll add for now with the kids around.
You're good. Hey, Val, you might have some really, really good advice onto that one. You want to tag on?
Can you read the question again, please?
Yeah, it's what parts of your old self had to die for the life you have now, and do you miss any of that?
I think everything. What part? Everything. Socially, job relate, professionally, sometimes even academically. Sometimes even maybe you studied something and you realized you changed and you don't want to be that person anymore. Sometimes it's romantic, and when it's friendships, it hurts even more. And sometimes it's the friendships you didn't know that had to break. They just creep up on you. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's a whole new city, your routines, your habits. I mean, everything, absolutely everything. And I think it's even worse when it's all happening at the same time. So maybe just tackle one thing at a time if it's possible, if it's a choice. And do I miss it? I would say no, because I wasn't aligned with that anymore. And that's why it had to fall away in the first place. And the more that I shed, the more that I'm bringing in. Like, I'm meeting new people. I'm not saying that they're replacing my old friends, but I'm making new connections so I don't feel like everything is gone. I do see positives to it. I do see like new doors opening to, and I know that sounds cliche, but that's exactly what happens. You just start to release some of the stuff that no longer resonates with you. And you're like, oh my God, as soon as I did that, actually something that I never knew existed, came in. And it just happens by itself. I hope that answers your question.
No, I love it. I just love to hear everyone's answers to these two. It's just interesting to learn about everybody. So thank you guys.
Yeah, Christina, coming out with some bangers of for
This is
scattering questions tonight. Like, jeez.
just right at your soul.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a great answer, Val. Right. And Amy.
Yeah, really good answer.
Let's go to this one, right? How do you balance being present online with protecting your space for solitude and reflection?
That's also mine. I'm sorry, I'm taking all the questions.
No. These are good ones, right? So you RSVP'd first, so they come up. But like, how do you balance being present online with protecting your space for solitude and reflection? Okay. I real quick, social media is a highlight reel, right? Where people just post their wins and how cool they look and what they're doing and oh, look at me. And it's all these highs. All you're seeing is everyone's little mountaintops and highs. Um, understand the game that you're playing in and that you don't have to play it, right? You were not on social media. I deactivated my Instagram today because I've only had it for a couple months again. And now all my friends are starting to send me too many things. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just talk to me in real life or call me.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting who you find out who wants to talk to you and you're not on social media?
Yeah.
Like who actually calls you or texts?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like now I have to be for my businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need a personal one. But when I use social media for my businesses, I'm producing 80% of the time and maybe I'm consuming 10% of the time. Whereas I think most people generally fall into they're consuming 80% of the time, but maybe producing 10 to 20% of the time at most. So flip the script. You don't have to play the game. If you're producing for a business or for yourself or for some sort of future networking opportunity, do that. But if you're trying to solicit the currency of likes and attention from other men or the other sex or whatever, maybe it's time to re-examine, okay, well, why do we feel like we need to gain this attention, this currency from people who aren't really physically in my life, but are making me feel good from this little smart device, right? So it's all about the means to the end. And if you can analyze that, I think that's very helpful for saying, what are we doing here? I don't post on my Instagram. I just like looking at conspiracy theories and stuff that I can find on X anyway. I'm gonna do that after all of my meetings and just share those with like the 1 or 2 people that I want to, right? So think about what the end goal is in mind. But does anyone else want to take a stab at that? How do you balance being present online with protecting your space for solitude and reflection?
Honestly, I think it comes down to it's a challenge for yourself and like your willpower, because we all have moments where we can get too distracted with it. Like, you know how the iPhone like, will give you your activity summary for the week and stuff. And some weeks I'm like, it says I'm up like 40%, which is crazy. You know, it just depends on what's going on that week. But like if I stay busy, if I'm doing something, or if I just eliminate it from easy like access. So when the breakup happened, like I deleted the app, but I didn't deactivate or like get rid of notifications. But it significantly helps just to not mindlessly like wander there. And I think it's just a matter of like, it sounds so silly because it's just deleting an app or something, but it's just out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. And I think it does help a lot. And then it helps you practice taking like another small thing and then another small step. And then it manifests into something like that's a bigger, you know, accomplishment overall.
Love that. That's good. That's great, Alex. We got some other good questions that I'm just shooting through. So save your stuff here. All right. Boom. What is the best way to build self-confidence aside from positive affirmations? Anyone wanna take a stab at this?
I'm going to be honest.
Dude.
I told Caitlin this earlier. I'm like, I'm literally trying to figure out what to do, and I'm reverse engineering it right now because that's all I know how to do. So I just dropped like $2,300 on getting some like what is it, micro needling and like getting a little bit more filler and Botox and just like making it kind of force me to do it from the outside in, because right now it's just not connecting for me personally. And I know that like once I start to see it, I'll feel better just
Mhm.
because it knocks your self-esteem so much when you go through this stuff. So and I'm also not drinking for 30 days. So
That's wonderful. I love
my birthday's the 10th, so that's an actual challenge.
Good, right? I love when we're vulnerable here, right? There's no judgment. You'll never have any judgment from me. You got to do what you got to do. And I think that understanding yourself and taking care of yourself is always the right choice. But the question, right, specifically about confidence, and I had this talk with a client earlier. Sorry, I've been learning French all day and it screws up my English later on because I use too many words. I hit my quota. So confidence comes from two things, in my opinion. It comes from keeping your word to yourself and to others. And then it comes from developing competency in a given task. Right? So when you keep your word to yourself and to others, that's always the right answer. That's a consistency part that just moves the train along. But developing competency is going to give you confidence, right? Maybe I'm not so confident in French, but maybe I'm a little confident in jiu-jitsu, but maybe I'm very confident in skydiving, but maybe I'm pretty confident in business, right? You can be confident in other things. Maybe I'm really confident at being a dog dad because these two are crazy all of the time. But maybe, I don't know, leveraging my second VA loan to open up and shop for a duplex is something I don't really feel very confident in at all, right? Or lawyer mumbo jumbo, whatever it is. Confidence happens in so many different categories, and people like to fake confidence in certain things. How easy is that to see when somebody is faking confidence, right? Yeah, but we all do it because we're human beings and we're perfectly imperfect. If you think about confidence as not so much as just rewiring your brain with affirmations, but developing competency in the things that you like, the things that feel authentic to you, right? Hobbies, passions, work. If you can just keep your word to yourself while you're doing all of those different things and move the needle along, showing that you're becoming more competent, you're going to develop a level of confidence that can grow over time as long as you're consistent with that thing. If anyone signed up for jujitsu like today or tomorrow, Nick, I think you just got out of jujitsu, you said. The first day that you showed up to jujitsu, how good at jujitsu were you? Probably bad, right? So was I when I showed up day one. But 6 months later, when you finally submit someone for the first time, instead of you getting beaten up for 6 months, gives you a little bit of confidence. It's the same thing here. Okay. What other self-confidence building tips do you guys have for yourself? Especially looking at the ladies. They're curious.
So one thing that I've always struggled with, people always tell me I come off confident and like I present myself very well, and it's the wildest thing to me because I, for the majority of my life, have always been like very internally inconfident. And one thing that really helped me with like, talk therapy is like fear of abandonment. So fear of loneliness, fear of being alone. So what helped me build my confidence was doing more things alone, specifically things that I felt like I was waiting on other people to kind of validate for me or do with me. Um, I want to say 2 years ago, I traveled to Thailand by myself for like 3 weeks, and literally driving to the airport, I was sweating and like shaking. And the second I got on the plane, I was just like, I'm doing it. And like took me 2 or 3 days to adjust in Thailand. And then I was just like, real life doesn't exist. Like my bills don't exist. Nothing exists. Like I'm doing this. It feels great. And I came home from that trip and just like no one could tell me shit. Like that was a new level of confidence I didn't know I could experience. And then from there, like I did it again. I went to Croatia last year by myself and spent 2 weeks on a boat, just hopping island to island. So I feel like doing things alone without validation or assistance from others, even just companionship, it's just, you know, validating yourself.
That's awesome. What specific, excuse me, what specific routines or hobbies do you guys have to build genuine self-confidence? Any hobby, looking in the mirror, gassing yourself up,
Mhm.
jumping around, dancing? What you got? What you got, Christina?
I mean, I do a lot of weird stuff. But I think the mirror thing, I do that. I talk to myself and I just say things to myself like, you're the shit, I love you. Like I do that and it does help. And I've been doing I mean, I've always had kind of a morning routine, but I've been doing yours and I swear it's made the biggest difference. Like you look at my TikTok. I did that. The next day I saw a coyote. Like it sounds scary, but I was like in a Newport neighborhood and this coyote literally walked up to me and my dog, just like playful, just like looked at us and like walked away. And I was like, is that a sign from the universe? Like, I don't know. I just think when you show up for yourself, you get rewarded and I don't know, whatever it is. Like I like making candles. I used to get candles from this oldest Botanica in Este and it's stupid, but it used to go, they read your energy, they make you a little candle, whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna make my own candles. So I just started doing it and it's fun. You just put on music and it's like sounds silly, but if it's something you like to do, like screw what anybody thinks, honestly, and just do it. And when I went through a breakup, not that long ago, I started doing like paint by numbers. I mean, this was like a year ago, but paint by numbers and just finding hobbies. Like you don't know what it is, rather than watching TV, especially like right after a breakup, like find something to physically do with your hands, go on a walk, go hiking, or as simple as like, I'm gonna make my bed every day. Like you commit to yourself that you're gonna do something and you do it. That's what builds confidence over time. And there are days when I don't do things and you feel it. So I think it's just keeping your word, like Tam said, to yourself and just finding what you like to do, regardless of what everyone else says to do. And just that's really it. I mean, I think we're all still figuring that out, but
Yeah, that's a tough one. Who knows what gaslighting is, right? Show of hands, right? Cool. Now, who can define what gaslighting is? Anybody?
I mean, it's convincing you that that's not reality, even though you know it is, and then you second guess yourself and you're like, wait, did that actually happen? Did I actually say that? And then you start to not trust your own word because they're telling you what your reality is wrong. So you lose trust in yourself.
Okay, very good. Is gaslighting a good or a bad thing?
It's a,
Well, either. I
Neither?
mean, to yourself, I mean,
Yeah, I was about to
you
say,
can tell
I
yourself
gaslight
that
myself daily.
I mean, it is bad, but if you want to, sometimes you have to fake it until you feel it.
I agree. At some point when I start teaching clients like really in depth about the affirmations or how to make slides, I'll tell you to be as fucking delusional as possible. Like, we'll tell you just be absolutely delusional with the things that you want to tell yourself in a healthy way, right? We're not going to go cause violence or do anything, but if you can be delusional about who you want to be and how you want to show up and the things you want to have and experience, that's only going to benefit you, right? So there is an element of gaslighting, I guess, in some of the stuff that I like to talk about and teach to clients, but we don't really tolerate gaslighting from other people, right? That's a no-no. But when it comes to how we talk to ourselves about ourselves, like, hey, I deeply love and accept myself. I have six-pack abs like the guys in 300. As I get older, I get stronger, blah, 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 right? Whatever it is about my business or myself or my dogs or my health or my life, my friends, my family, right? I'm going to tell myself those things. And over time, I see that reality reflect in my physical reality, right? There's always a gap, there's a lag sometimes between what we tell ourselves up here and how it manifests into physical reality. I'm not going to get into, quarks and leptons and photons and neutrons and the electron cloud right now, but understand that there's a huge lag between what happens up here and then what eventually happens in our physical reality. You have to feel it and see it before it exists in your physical world. So, in terms of building tips, Mel Robbins is a great resource too, if you guys don't follow her. But she had a really viral video a couple years ago where she would just tell people to just go in the mirror every single time and just high five themselves, right? Every time she went to the bathroom, she would just high five herself. And she would say, like, I love you 3 times or whatever. Okay. These little hobbies of just accepting yourself and loving yourself and not performing self-sabotage or not being so recluse that you're not even getting vitamin D or walking on grass every single day or showing up and doing the things that you need to do. Those are destructive habits that will take you away, that will take away your confidence. 110%. Make sense? Okay. Let's hop into the next questions. So, best strategies to help with anxiety and depression. What you guys got? Anybody? Okay. Come on.
I would just say, like, kind of like what Kaylin said just a little while ago while she went on her trip to Thailand. Like, reality, like, this is not real. Just like get out of your head, and know that feelings are temporary and you're not gonna feel like that forever. I'm not saying avoid it, definitely feel it out. And maybe try. So I try not to label my anxiety or when I'm feeling sad as like that is a bad feeling and I shouldn't feel that, because that is very normal, that is very human. You are supposed to feel that. So the more that I shame that feeling, the worse it gets. So in a way, like nurturing your shadow and knowing that it's a part of you, it's always going to be a part of you. So do not give it that power of like, I'm running away from it, but just being like, hey, I see you and this is how I'm feeling right now. Okay, I'm going to have, sometimes you do need to have that crappy day. And just, I would just wouldn't like ruminate on it. I wouldn't have like a crappy whole week, staying there. But definitely just acknowledging that I love the best parts of me and I love the parts of me that, like I said, they're not bad, but they don't feel so great, but they're still a part of me.
Love it. I would say don't say, I mean, something that I'd stopped saying a while ago is like not I am statements. Like maybe not saying like I am this or I'm depressed or I'm this. It's like maybe I feel this way or this is an emotion that I feel, and you have to physically, change your state. Like Amy said, get outside, like change your environment. And ground, go into nature, whatever it is, go on a bike ride, whatever you need to do that makes you happy. Get in the ocean if you're near water, go in the mountains. Just get out of your house, really, because if you ruminate in there, it's a scary place, especially after breakups. I know that. So, and be around people that bring you happiness, not those that are gonna make you feel bad afterwards or, party too much and then you feel like shit the next day. Do something that's gonna be good for you.
I think that we also don't think about the peace that comes with routine as well, because like I know, Chris, you said you had a dog. Like I have two dogs. So if I'm feeling depressed, that's something I have to do. I have no choice. I have to get up. I have to feed them. I have to give them water. I have to take them out. That's just not an option. And like, or, like my job, I literally am in my dream job. I worked 5 years to get into this company. I am in my fourth year now and I'm 100% commission, and there's a certain, like I have a quota. I can't spend too much time in that headspace, and because if I do spend too much time, it's a slippery slope, but also I don't have a choice. I have to do these things, and it's the shitty part about being an adult, but it's also kind of like the gift we have of being an adult, because we have to do these things, whether it's a family member you're responsible for, whatever it may be. Like the gym, the amount of times I'm just exhausted. Like I was trying to connect with Kaylin like few days this week, and I'm like, I was like, my schedule can be all over the place. Like I literally slept and was depressed in bed all week last week, but this week I was up at like 4:30, then 5, then 4:30, 5 again, and I was exhausted. My body was exhausted. My brain was exhausted, but I had to go to the gym. Even I went in there and did like 2 movements and I left because I have to, because it's routine. And I just have to in order to like get back to normal or feel normal or anything. And like making the bed is a really good one. That's something I actually didn't do until like my late 20s, and one day I just started making my bed, and I will never go a day without making my bed. If I don't make my bed, my day just doesn't feel right.
Fuck yeah, Alex. Retweet. Okay. Totally agree. There's a great book by a Navy SEAL commander called Make Your Bed. Admiral McRaven.
I have it.
Awesome. It's a great book. But I hate SEALs, so whatever. Anyways, anxiety, in my 2 cents, is living too far in the future. Depression is living too far in the past. I've seen a lot of people, myself included, right, try and control things in the future that are not 100% in my control. And that's where the anxiety comes from. Because you can't control that thing, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And because you don't know what the outcome is going to be, you don't know how you're going to feel. Because you don't know how you're going to feel, it makes you lose track of the present moment and how you feel. That to me is what I perceive anxiety to be, right? Everyone has a different way to sort of realize that or think about that. But depression is like you driving down the road and looking in the rearview mirror to see if someone else is looking in their rearview mirror back at you, but you never really find them, right? And it's trying to change the course of something that's already finite, right? At least in this multiverse, whatever happened, we can't change that. We can't go back in time. There's no time machines, right? You're not Ant-Man or whatever God travels back in time. I forget. But you can't change stuff in your past. And it's hard to accept. And that's where people get so caught up, is they look at who they were or what they did or what happened or why it happened. And they have so many questions that they will never get answers to. And they try and change that. And then it's like, well, now I'm just depressed because that's all I can think about. And you just ruminate and you ruminate and you ruminate because you're trying to find ways to rewrite that story or change it. And it's really hard, right? That's why letting go is so difficult. But letting go is not something that you do once. It's a choice that you make 10,000 times a day. I'm letting go of this. I'm letting go of this. I'm letting go of this. I've already moved on. You have to do that, right? That Ho'oponopono prayer. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I release you. Those 5 things. Dude, when I went through my shit, I said that like 1,000 times a day. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I release you. And that is just like clearing energy out of your body, right? I went to Reiki. I did dry needling. I got deep tissue massages. I did sprints. I worked my ass off. I built businesses. I cried. I went in the woods. I smashed sticks against trees, right? I screamed as loud as I could in like the woods. All of these things, right? You have to find a way to just give your body like a channel, an outlet for all of these emotions. Otherwise, you're going to sit there trying to change things in the future that you can't control. Or trying to change things in the past that you can't control. You have to put your body into motion, doing something, anything. And the person that submitted this question, you know, you're doing that stuff, but this stuff takes time, right? So
There's like this one video I saw that I wanted to like chime in at some point during this, and I feel like this would be a good one because it's one of those very simple things that you say to yourself, but it like just resonated for some reason, and it's just the smallest change in how you say it. It's literally one word, but it's not what happened to you, it's what happens for you. Like literally switching that 2 and 4. I don't know why, but it was the most simple and like also the most effective like message to me.
I love that. One of my mentors, that reminds me of something too, Alex. One of my mentors taught me something. He said, what if the worst thing that's ever happened to you was the best thing that's ever happened to you? And I hated that when he told me that. I was like, fuck you. Right?
Yeah, I think it's also like that victim mentality, which I just hate, and like it, nobody likes it. And even if you are in that headspace, like you're gonna look back on it, and at least me, like I would look back on it and just like cringe. I'm like, why? How? Why was I'm a badass. Like you say, you know, like I know what I've done in my life, and then I'm gonna sit here and just be like in this weird pathetic victim mentality. But it's something so simple as switching out those words, and the way it resonated was like interesting.
Yeah. Spot on. Anybody else on anxiety and depression want to chime in?
The last thing I'll say is sometimes, I mean, I don't know about this person, but I want to be a parent someday, and I always think like these are really good experiences so that I know how to give advice and be a better parent one day. And that always makes me feel better about myself. Like just knowing that I'm going to be prepared to know and have these conversations. So maybe just, or maybe even thinking like, what would 80-year-old me think of this situation right now? She probably would just be like, enjoy how young you are. Like, really reframing that. So just hypothetical kind of things that I think about.
Awesome. That's great. Good stuff, y'all. Let me see. We might be out of questions. Oh, I lied. Good question. When you're helping someone, how can you tell whether your support is genuinely helpful or if it's enabling their behavior? Very good question, right? So what's the difference when you're helping someone? How can you tell if you're being codependent or enabling them? Okay. Who's read the book Codependent No More? Anyone? Everyone should read that book because that book is fan-fucking-tastic. Codependent No More. I think it's by Melanie Beattie. I'll find a link to it, but does anyone know what codependency is?
Yes.
Take a step. Let's go. What is it?
I feel like I used to be very codependent, and then I learned that I like to be alone, and now maybe I'm alone too much. But codependent is where you've basically all your happiness and everything in life depends on another person, and you give kind of all of your energy, and if they're not there, you don't feel fulfilled or you're not happy on your own, and they kind of bring every piece of joy in your life, and you need to be around them or need to be around people to feel good about yourself. I could have said that, you'll probably say it better, but
No,
basically that's it.
I think that was great. There's so many different types, right? So same with attachment styles, and now people are like boiling it down into 18 different things. Codependency is just it's just that it's enabling various types of behavior from other people and then giving our own power away to that person's reactions about what they do or what they don't do, or whether they need us or they don't need us. And that affects our own value, right? How we view ourselves. And it sounds crazy, right? But you don't even know when you're being codependent, right?
No.
Oftentimes
And
you
you
think
look
it's
back
somebody.
and you're like, what the hell was I doing?
Yeah. And I think women are better at realizing this than men, but um I saw this in my own life. My grandmother was codependent on my grandfather, right? And he was an old Irishman and an alcoholic, and she was just enabling this behavior for years. I was just a kid, so I didn't really like understand what was going on. But now looking back, I'm like, huh, that makes a lot of sense. So women recognize this way better, but I think it happens to them more often. I don't think that men typically fall into more or less a codependent pattern with partners. That tends to manifest itself more as like guys being in a nice guy syndrome or performing a nice guy syndrome, right? Giving to get.
Yeah.
I think women kind of take on more often a codependent role if and when it happens. It's a fantastic book. I probably need to listen to it again because I'm a little bit not fully spun up on this right now. Does anyone else have any thoughts about codependency?
I would say I'm just gonna chime in really quick here because this is probably one of my greatest like adversaries. It's because I I've been through everyone has like everyone's been through a ton of shit in their life, but I'm also an only child and I went through a lot of childhood trauma and I dealt with that by myself, which created like so I'm this is where this is probably the biggest hurdle for me, I think, especially during times like this, because and I would be really interested to hear like anyone else's experience or thoughts on this one way or another, because I am conditioned to just internalize anything and just be alone and that's what I know. So, and I won't reach out to friends. I won't do anything or actively like seek a support system. I don't feel like I even have like a support system. I'm pretty much alone, like honestly. And it's a really hard thing to break that thought cycle because I just don't think about it. So when I have conflict, internal conflict or anything, I very much internalize it, but I'm also the person that wears their heart on their sleeve. So it's this really tricky place. And then when like for my relationship, it didn't even become aware to me until it was an issue. And it's because he's so independent and he was like, go like live, like when I met you, you were so independent, like you were going out with your friends, like you were doing this. And I like literally would just come home and want to just hang out with him because I lost some friends because they were shitty friends because they were just filling some, just like void. But it doesn't even, it's not something I'm even actively aware of until it's like after the fact. And it's just a weird place because of, I mean, that's all I've known for my 35 years of life.
That's good. That's good stuff. Have you read that book, Alex?
I don't think I read that book. No.
Yeah, I remember reading this like 5 years ago. It's very good. So if you have any more codependency books, it's good to recognize that behavior, right? And
Yeah.
for the dudes, right, Nick, there's a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover that similarly talks about how men will start to perform nice guy traits for women or potential partners. And it pseudo looks like codependency from the male side, right? Talking about how these male orbiters will just kind of like do favors and do this. And it kind of like it's similar to codependency, right? Not too far off. But does anyone have any other advice when you're helping someone? How can you tell whether your support is genuinely helpful or if it's enabling their behavior?
I think for me, sometimes I've just had to be that friend that just says it how it is because a lot of people don't. So, I mean, if you think it's actually going to help them and you're close with them, I don't know what this is in reference to, but just thinking about friends and relationships or whatnot, I think sometimes it's hard to say the thing that no one else wants to say to someone, but it could be the time that they or the words they actually need to hear in order to change. I think by enabling their behavior and telling them, they're doing the right thing or they should stay in this relationship that's not healthy, you're actually hurting them. So that's, I don't know. I just think sometimes you got to be the person that says the truth in order to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, you should want to help someone who wants to help themselves. Right. If
Yeah.
you're helping someone who doesn't want to help themselves, that's usually when I will cut it off, right? Either personally or professionally. And I'll be like, yeah, I don't think you really want to help yourself, right? And what I do, my work within the teams, it's like we're all guys that can do a lot of really cool, awesome, special stuff. But if one of us falls down or is having a hard time, the other guy will be there to pick him up because every man falls at some point, right? But the guys that we filtered out in our long pipeline, of course, were the guys that just wanted to quit and feel bad and wanted too much of other people's help. And that will drag a person down. And those guys get weeded out for a reason. So I'm not saying they're bad dudes, but you should filter out friends, family, strangers. Are you helping people who help themselves? Are you helping someone who literally cannot help themselves? Right? That's probably a very altruistic purpose. Yeah, you have to be able to make that distinction, but I think that's a personal one. I think it's different for everybody. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for questions. Okay. If you guys have anything else that you want to bring up, yeah, good point. The victim mentality. If you guys have anything else that you guys want to bring up or talk about, I'm happy to answer it. As I stated earlier on in the call, I do post these to YouTube when I go brush through all my Zoom videos that get recorded. if something was said or you shared something that you don't want to go on there, or you just don't want your name or face to be on my YouTube channel talking about this stuff, let me know and I won't even download it and post it. But send me a text on WhatsApp and just ask me there or let me know there. So I just won't even go ahead and do it once I get to it. Other than that, you'll be able to RSVP typically for the next couple Thursdays at 8 p.m. for these calls. So we'll keep it to 10 because over 10 previously got a little bit too chaotic or a little bit too intimidating, and then no one wanted to talk. But great job. Like everyone, thanks for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'll open the floor up to you guys.
I just have no, I mean, I with this whole thing, I've gotten asked so many times, like, well, what hobbies do you do? Like, what do you like to do for fun? And I just like stare at them because I'm like, I don't know. I work and then I go to the gym and that's like it. And I went through a phase where I was like reading a lot, but that kept me inside. And then I felt super lonely. And so it was like this weird thing. And so I started like honestly making a list of things, just like challenges for myself. And that's like, so it sounds like you're learning French, Cam, and like that's great. But I get too carried away with stuff like that, the way that like my personality is. And then I don't retain anything. But one thing like I had on my list, which is, it's kind of silly, but it's one of my big insecurities is just my like vocab and like expanding my vocab and like the field I'm in, it would help with like my confidence and everything and just conversations and speaking with groups or with physicians or whatever. And like I even used one of the new words that I study like in this call, which was actually like a big thing for me. But then I got like a reusable disposable film camera, and I'm like, I don't know, do I maybe want to try to get artsy or something? But like, what else has anyone done? Like whether it's something as like random as expanding your vocab or actual hobby like painting or whatever, I would just be curious because I felt like I was just racking my brain trying to think of things, which sounds horrible, but
Oh, no, I feel you, Alex. Are you in med device, by the way?
I am.
Okay, I was in med device many years, and everything you're saying, I was commissioned only at Medtronic. So,
I'm Stryker.
okay, I worked at my first sales job was Stryker. So
Uh,
I feel you. I relate to you on that. It's hardcore going into the OR
oh
and
my
dealing
God, I was the
with
most
that.
insecure person when I started this role. I was a complete mess.
How long have you been in it, if you don't mind me asking?
It'll be 4 years in December.
Okay, so you're well equipped, you're established in that. I think it's hard when you have a job like that. I mean, I know from experience. Um, now
Oh,
I'm remote, but it's hard to find a hobby because your schedule's kind of all over the place.
yeah.
I think during that, so something like I literally did paint by numbers. It sounds stupid, but especially with like it sounds like I have a similar
No,
brain
I like that.
because
I like
it's like
puzzles and stuff,
science.
but
It's like one
yeah.
plus like you color in the lines, like but it's artistic, but it's not. And then I got into candles because it's science, but it's creative. So like
Yeah.
honestly, I would love to. I mean, I'll teach you how to make candles. I think you would like it. It's pretty easy, but it'll work the science part of your brain and
As long
then
as I won't make too much of a mess, because then that creates a whole other thing.
no, you can control it. It's pretty easy. Yeah. So
I
I don't
mean,
know.
yeah, I'm open.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. I think you would like it.
Cool, thanks.
Sweet.
Um, what I would say to that is sometimes it's hard to start a hobby because then you actually have to come through with it and like learning and
Yeah.
I'm an artist myself, and something that I do is I take myself out on artist dates. So really what that is just once a week I'll do something by myself, and it could be like it literally anything. It could be watch a movie by myself. I could go to the dollar store and be like, let me buy 5 things with $5 and see just how creative I can get. It doesn't have to be expensive at all.
Hmm.
I can try just like collaging or creating a vision board, like whatever I have time for. It could be even just like, I don't know, going to a new yoga studio, like something that feels new. Um, and that is a hobby in itself, just trying out new environments and new activities and new things. So maybe
Yeah, that's a good idea.
they're on like an actual hobby until you find something that you really do love, and then voila, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Alex, like I got really big into numerology and astrology. I know it sounds stupid, but I mean it doesn't sound stupid. I'm stopping myself from saying comments like that about myself. I think it's cool, changing my frame on that. But just something that you're passionate about to study like that too, that maybe you don't know a lot about.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, guys, there are literally no stupid hobbies. Like, unless there's no stupid hobbies. I collect heart rocks. So I'm on a beach right now, and I'll probably find like 3 to 5 heart rocks before I leave.
Like shaped like a heart?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I took all my heart rocks out of my pocket. Um, yes. Oh, June says hi. Daddy left to go find the shrimp pots. But so there are no silly hobbies. Just whatever makes your heart happy, just do the thing. And I was in medical sales before I started my company. And medical sales is the worst because you deal with men.
Yeah.
No offense to the
It's
guys,
the
but like
worst.
not like the guys that are in our group. Our guys are cool. Like, you deal with the guys that are not working on healing themselves.
Yeah, it's all a cover up.
Yeah, it's the worst. And it's so just do what makes your heart happy. And yeah, there's lots of fun stuff to do. And photography is fun. And if you travel for work, there's a new boxing gym that they've got them all over the lower 48. There's like one in Alaska. But there's different gyms that you can go to and box and I don't know, do fun stuff like
I
that.
thought about a rage room. I think I want to do a rage room soon.
Yes,
I've
yes.
done
Fight
it.
Club.
It does make you feel good, but I broke my toe in it.
Oh,
So
Oh
careful.
no.
A long time ago.
Don't do that. But I encourage all the women, especially in Alaska, we've got a lot of tremendous stats for stuff. I've been in healthcare for 20 years and we have a lot of bad stuff happens up here. So I encourage all the women to take self-defense classes and just do something that gets you to where you can take care of yourself if the need ever arises. So Cam can talk more about self-defense classes and stuff like that.
Well, I don't want to say how many guns I have on a recorded Zoom call that I'm about to post on my YouTube channel, but I think self-defense is inherently an American right.
I'm a Floridian.
Yeah, I mean, country was founded on this.
My family's redneck from Redding and Grass Valley, so I feel you.
Mine's in my bag for the Bears, so.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about FRT triggers and other things that I may or may, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for hopping on the group call, right? Again, business or personal focus. The goal is to introduce each other, help each other out. You don't have to stay the whole time. If anyone has a problem with anything that was posted on here, just let me know and I won't post this. But please connect with each other on Discord, right? Set up meet and greets, right? Figure out where you guys live. A guru at something else. And I learned just as much from you guys when you guys start sharing stuff as hopefully you do for me. All right. So see you guys on the next one. Hit me up if you need anything else. Okay.
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Thank you. Bye.